We've put a lot of work into this sales page. There's only one thing left to do, and that's to go back and write the final headline. It's like putting a cherry on top. Remember, if we can't get the reader past the first 10 seconds on the page, all the work that you and I have done today is wasted. I don't want to blow it on the first line. That's why I always go back to the headline at the very end. If you remember, we started with this placeholder headline in the first draft. I could be doing so much more. It's okay, it's kind of intriguing, but I don't want a headline that makes people think, intriguing. I want a headline that stops them in their tracks and compels them to read on. So the next thing I'll do here is I'm going to take a step back. I'm going to reread everything I've written, and I'm going to wait, and I'm going to think how to narrow all that down into the most powerful tip of a spear. I want to shrink everything I've done into one concise headline. How do I do it? Well, usually I'll notice a powerful theme in the sales page that's going to inspire headline ideas. Again, some headlines can be benefits driven. For example, recall our Zero to Launch headline, break the shackles of your job, your calendar, and your 9-to-5 income. Or our Instant Network program, how to build powerful connections with VIPs to get one-on-one mentorship, ongoing introductions, and skip the line access into the private world of unannounced jobs and unrivaled perks. On the other hand, some headlines describe the pain that the customer is going through, usually stated as a quote, as if the reader were actually saying it out loud. For example, the one from our How to Talk to Anybody course. I was tired of feeling awkward. That's a really unusual one. Notice how different headlines can be. This is not formulaic. I want you to use whatever connects best with your readers. Now let me suggest something. I want you to put your skills to the test. I want you to pause this video and scan through the final sales page once again. If you were me, what would you write as the headline? What do you think would catch the reader's attention? Try to write down 3 ideas and then come back here and I'll show you what I think. Go ahead, pause the video now. Okay, welcome back. Let's take a crack at the headline now. You might recall that during my initial review, I loved this part about morning routines and juicing. I liked it so much that I kept it and I expanded on it in my sales page edit. I think this is a really powerful hook. I think it's an unspoken truth, as we call it in our copywriting course, call to action. Why? Because everybody else out there is trying to sell our reader productivity hacks to help them become more successful. But we know that meditations and low-carb diets won't change a thing if they don't change their mindset. So we're telling them something they desperately need to hear, but nobody else is telling them that. I think this idea has a lot of potential for our headline. Let me try something like this. All right, how about this? Forget about the hacks, the morning routines, the random tactics. This is starting to hit home. I know from our research that these are real things our customer has tried. If I were a cold reader, would this catch my attention? Yes. I might think to myself, I just bought yet another productivity journal. What's this thing all about? You could also include a couple of sub-headlines to help add some context and draw the reader further down the page. Don't overcomplicate it. Something simple like, what if you could insert benefit? That formula works really well for us. Something like this. What if you could start and finish every day confident, focused, motivated, and optimistic? What if you could stop worrying about everything that could go wrong and start making things go right? What if you could stop reacting to everyone else and start building the life you really want? Notice how each subhead is focused on the benefits. We haven't even hinted at what the product is yet. We're just giving the reader enough to whet their appetite. Our hope is that they'll read this and think, hey, yeah, I do want to feel that way. and they're going to keep scrolling. Now look at this. Our headlines are written. We now have a final sales page. I love it. The complete sales page with the final headlines added is below for you to download and read along. So let's do a recap of each section and what it accomplishes. Next time you go to write your own sales page, you can use this as a checklist for yourself. Now, we've got two main parts. In part one, we build desire for the product. So this section should include grabbing the reader's attention with a headline, describing the pain the customer is going through, painting the dream of what life could look like if their problem were solved, describing what they've tried before to fix it, why it hasn't worked, revealing the solution that we are offering, and finally, addressing any objections they might have to why their dream can't be achieved. Remember, after the headline, the other 5 elements can be arranged in any order as long as you hit them. And then in part 2, we make our offer and we ask for the sale. So this section should introduce the product, its main benefits and its features. It should describe what they get using mouth-watering bullets or fascinations. It should reverse the buyer's risk with an FAQ, a guarantee, and testimonials if possible. And it should close with what it's costing them not to buy now. Now here's what happens after the copy gets my stamp of approval. We will hand it off to a QA specialist. They're going to do an in-depth check for grammar, spelling, and typos. Then it goes on to our design and engineering teams to add logos, make the images really pop, load it up on a web page, add the buy buttons, and test everything to make sure it works before it goes live. But you can keep it simple. For QA, go ask a friend who loves to read, hey, would you do me a favor and just read this thing and check it for typos? For design, a clean, simple design with a few images, that's a great place to start. And if you search for sales page templates, you're going to get lots of services with relatively inexpensive templates that are going to help you set that up. So, what do we take away from this entire process? Whether you have a team of writers or you're doing it all on your own, there are certain things that every business owner should keep in mind when creating a sales page. First, do the hard work up front. Talk to real customers. Understand the pains and frustrations they're going through. Understand their hopes and dreams. Get actual quotes, the real things they say from your conversations with them. This is where the magic comes from. Without that, none of the rest of this would have happened. If you are not sure how to do customer research or how to ask these questions, we have an entire module on customer research in our program, Zero to Launch. Next, you now know what 6 elements you need to hit to build desire in the first half of your sales page. Pull these up as a checklist whenever you sit down to write one. Then, spend 80% of your writing time hitting on that first half of the sales page. Remember, building desire for your product. Get the second half. Get it to be good enough. That includes the offer, the risk reversal, and the close. Pretty straightforward stuff. As long as you understand your product and the questions your customer will ask, this section will be very straightforward. Now, how do you know if it's good? Well, this is where you want to use the emotion detector technique to tell if it's good. If you're not sure it's good enough, read through it or ask a friend to read through it and notice how it makes you feel. If you feel even a little bit confused or bored, it needs work. To make it sound natural, you also want to use real stories from your life to make the copy sound more natural. It sounds natural because it is. Focus on describing the benefits of your product, not the features. For example, confidence, control, a sense of calm. These are outcomes or benefits of your product instead of the feature being mental frameworks. What else? What's one more insight you've taken away from this program that you can use in your copywriting process today? I'd love to hear it. Share it in the comments below. You now have everything you need to go and write your next sales page. If you get stuck, come back. Revisit this course at any time. And if you want to go deeper, you can check out our flagship copywriting course, Call to Action. No matter what, I guarantee that even if you can just implement one new thing you've learned here, your sales copy will improve dramatically.